I've got an internet crush. She's not a celebrity, but she's taken. So can't help falling in love.
Hi guys! I'm doing a book review on my month of February reads and my month of March reads. I was gonna do them individually, but then I thought that it honestly wouldn't have been long enough. So I decided to just condense the two, and I feel like that would be 10 times better. So today we are... I can't stop looking at my nails. I just got them done today by my girlfriend. And it's giving, you're green. I am. So if you watched my previous video on my January reads, you know that I finished the ACOTAR series, or I started the ACOTAR series, and now I read this book, A Court of Mist and Fury, and this one has to be one of my favorite books in the series. I cried while reading this when they were in the cabin. It was so emotional. But the gist of this book, it goes a lot with her Feyre, who was our main character in here, and her falling in love with Rhys, who is actually her true mate. I'm gonna try not to give away any spoilers. But I would say this one is my favorite out of the series. I love the way that it was written. I also think in here we see Rhys's personality just like much more than the first book, obviously. And I think Sarah is doing me justice because she knows exactly how to reach the female heart. And every time, or not every time, I only read this once. When I read this, I just remember feeling so nostalgic and just feeling all the love that Feyre was getting from him. And I couldn't stop thinking about it. I was so obsessed with his words and the kind of man he is. He kind of reminds me, I mean, he doesn't remind me, but he, Rhys, who is the main guy in here, like his nobleness reminds me of Game of Thrones. What is his name? Babe!
What?
What's that guy's name in Game of Thrones and he died? He kind of reminds me of Ned Stark. What the fuck? No, not that he reminds me of Ned Stark, like I don't envision him, but I think just the whole, like, everyone looks up to him, people turn to him when they need help and assistance and when they need some words of encouragement and someone who they look for to protect them. They look at Rhys, and it reminds me of Game of Thrones, Ned Stark, who is the father of the Winter, what is it called? The Winter, oh my god guys, I haven't watched Game of Thrones in so long. The North, no, yeah, the North, their sigil is the wolf, oh my god, the dire wolf. It's gonna be all in my head, but it will come to me eventually. But yes, he reminds me of that guy. This book has like put the standard of men for me like up here. And when I say standard of men, I mean like for all my book boyfriends. I obviously have a boyfriend in real life, but my book boyfriends mean everything to me, and I would say he is my favorite book boyfriend. It's a lot of explaining of why he acted the way he did in the first book. He like reveals a lot of stuff to her, and when it all came together, I was so emotional because I remember in the first book I was so confused, like, why is he doing this and why is he acting like that, you know, or like I'm not fully understanding the grasp of their characters. And then when I read this book and everything came together, I was like, oh my god, I can't stop crying. It was that good. I couldn't stop freaking crying. I would say this book for me is my 5 out of 5. Like, I would read this over again. I probably will read it over again because I am just so obsessed with these characters and I am not ready to let them go. Like, I'll get to that, but this is everything to me. I definitely would read this again. I would recommend this to anyone who is a hopeless romantic, who also likes a little adventure, super, super into fantasy. Obviously, I read the rest of the ACOTAR series as well because I needed to finish it. There was no way I was going to take a break with any of it. So I guess the next book that we'll go over is this one, A Court of Wings and Ruin. This book was so good, you guys. Like, I like these two books so much, but for different reasons. This one was really, really heavy on the love stories. Obviously there's a lot of like fantasy and action here, but this one was like way beyond heavy action. Like, I would say half the book is action, and I loved it. I cried. This one like broke me in so many different ways, especially because this is the last book that is about Reese and Feyre's love story. So I was like sulking it in because I could not read it fast. I refused to. I was reading it, I was crying like every freaking other, not really like, not every other chapter, but I was crying because, you know, I knew that this was coming to an end, and I love them so much, their love story, that I was so scared to let them go. In this book, a lot of the other characters are more focused as well. Like, it's not just about Feyre and Reese, it's a lot about the other characters as well, which I think is highly, highly important because it builds the story up so good and it makes so much sense. Obviously, if you guys don't know, Feyre has siblings. She has two sisters, two older sisters, and they also become a big factor in this book again. They were in this book, but they were closer towards the end. They're in this book a lot, and they're not my favorite, but I know that they're important because they played a role. I love all the side characters in here. I think that they do a really good job with incorporating their relationships with the main two characters. And for me, I feel like that's super important because when it's always about the main two characters, I kind of get bored. I don't know. I don't know if you guys can relate. Some books that I read, they do like the alternative POV, like it's the girl first and then the guy and then the whatever every chapter. And I liked that this book was not just that. It was, well, it's not that in general, but there was a lot of like perspectives of like their relationship with Feyre and the Night Court, which is basically Reese and his super, super tight court-knit friends and family, I guess. And I love that. I think that relationships are so important, and you see their bond and sacrifice to each other. I cried again in this book because the way that Reese talks was like, ooh, it made me feel some type of way. He didn't just say anything. Well, actually he did. I cried. I don't know. I don't want to say any spoilers, but he basically said this speech to all of the Night Court, and I cried because the way that his words were just thoughtfully placed together and about each of the individuals, I was like, oh my god, I'm crying so fucking hard. And then at the end of the book, when something happens to him, his words too, like just saying to Feyre, I was like bawling my eyes out. But this book is like heavy action, and it's so good. I could not read fast enough. That was my biggest problem with this book. My eyes were like going like this, and I could not comprehend everything, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to read faster and faster and faster. And I would stay up until 3 a.m. I swear, reading this, and Philip was so annoyed at me, but I couldn't help it. I could not put it down. I had to like force myself to sleep, and even when I was going to sleep, like I put my book away, I would look up like AI ACOTAR on TikTok. Like, that is how I was so just consumed by this world. Oh, I don't know. I love this book. Okay, the next book is this one, A Court of Frost and Starlight. I think everyone knows that this book is not the greatest in the series, but there's a lot of cute moments in here between the characters that really help them all bond. Especially what this book, I would say the purpose of this book is more of like a cleansing palette, because in the last 3 books it's about Rhysand and Rhysand and Feyre, and then this book is like a palette cleanser with all the characters, because there's a lot of different perspectives in here, like Rhys, Feyre, Morgan, Cassian, like it's coming from all their perspectives, so it's a lot of different, I guess I would say different type of writing, but there's a lot of bonding in here that helps the story building, and I think this book was made to prep us for this book. And this one is A Court of Silver Flames. So this book was kind of heavier. Actually, this was like the same as this. But this is where Feyre and Rhys end. Or sorry, that Court of Wings and Ruin. And this is where our next couple begins. This is where Nesta and Cassian come into play. And Nesta is Feyre's oldest sister, and her love interest is Cassian, which is Rhysand's basically brother. They kind of just grew up together. They're not actually related, but they grew up together as like a family. So they love each other. And this book, I would say, just like is a lot of slow burn and teasing, because they know that they love each other, but it's taking them forever to get there. Excuse me. I would say that's the one thing that like took forever in this book. Okay, I guess I shouldn't say that, because listen, there is a lot of, you know, I told my cousin this, Feyre and Rhys, like, if you know what I mean, but Nesta and Cassian, like, if you know what I mean. And they do it so much more frequently in here that it, like, I swear it's like in every other freaking chapter, which is fine, but that's like a part of their story. That's all they do, and they're trying to deal with that while figuring out their feelings towards each other. And I think I was just so like, get to the point, like, we know you guys are very physical, but like I'm waiting for the emotional love and tug, and like just like the actual emotion base. And I think that describes perfectly what I like in men, like in real life. I love someone like Rhys, who is like tried and true, emotional, like wears his heart on his sleeves, you know, it's the little thing that matters, like everything. And Cassian is just like this, like, I want this now, and blunt, and just, I don't know. I love him as a character, of course, but Rhys stands to be my favorite book boyfriend. Sue me, I don't care. But this book also has action in it. I will say, I feel like, well, if you guys don't know, she's still, Sarah, the author, she's still coming out with more books. So this book actually left us off with a decent ending, but there's so many questions for more. I think this book has a lot of character development, because honestly, in these past 4 books, Nesta, hated her. I don't care. Did not like her. She was so annoying, so selfish. I was sick of her. Like, I was like waiting for her to like get jumped or something, I swear. But in this book, it really showed her as a person, and how she really is older child syndrome. Like, I'm her. I think I'm a mix of Nesta and Morgan, if that tells you anything. Literally, that's it. She is almost so unlikable, but as you start to hear her story and like really pay attention to the details of who she is as a person, it makes sense, and you slowly begin to love her, because now that I've read this, I really have come to terms of like, I really do feel that she was just misunderstood in a lot of situations. It doesn't, you know, forgive what she's done in these books. She actually doesn't do anything like crazy astronomical, like I hate you, but I think it's just like her attitude that's really annoying, where I'm like, girl, stop being so freaking selfish and annoying. Like it's getting tiring. And there's a little bit of that in this, but thankfully Cassian is there to like put her in check. And I also love the fact that she finds bonds and a new relationship with these other girls. They're called Valkyries. Basically Nesta finds two girls, and they've also gone through a lot of hardships, and they become the Valkyries. And the Valkyries are known as like just being like mighty warriors, obviously women, and just so strong and powerful. So I love everything about that. And it's hard because I love that, you know, she obviously is a part of the Night Court now, but I just love that she has found a new family, basically, because she felt like she couldn't be accepted into that. And instead of just forcing herself in that mold, she actually made a new type of bond with these other girls. And if you know what all the rest of the girls went through as well, it's very emotional. And yeah, I don't think I cried in this book. I didn't cry, but there were some moments where I was like, oh my god, it's so good. And this is why the ACOTAR series is like my favorite. Like, I need to go back and read all of this because I feel like I didn't catch everything. Even after I read all these freaking books, like I feel like I still missed out on a lot of minor details that I need to go do. I would give this one a 5 out of 5 stars. I would give this one a 5 out of 5 stars. I would give this one, the blue one, I would give this one 3.5 out of 5 stars. And this one I would give also a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It wasn't bad, okay? But I just wasn't obsessing over it as I was with the rest of the series. So this is what I finished reading, the ACOTAR series. And I didn't even show you guys. I actually got a book tattoo. My cousin did it for me. Can you see that? It's a cute little book. And it's just like flipping its pages. I also got a 7 here because I was born on the 7th and 7 is my lucky number. I got some stars here. I want more hand tattoos, so hopefully that will be what's coming. Okay, my next 2 books that I read for the month of February/March, I read The Cruel Prince, and I think that it's hard to get into every other fantasy after you find like your ultimate favorite fantasy. So obviously after I read ACOTAR, I jumped into this right away. It didn't fill the void that I have for missing ACOTAR so much, but it was still good. I would say this isn't my favorite book, but I don't hate it. Jude is the main character. She has a twin. Basically, she has a twin. They have an older sister. The older sister has a different dad, but they all share the same mom. Ooh. The older sister's dad is a fae. He comes to the mortal world, comes to the mortal world, executes the mother and the new dad, and the older sister's dad actually takes the older sister and the twins back to the fairy world and basically raises them as his own. So there's a lot of fae in this. There's some magic in this. It's really twisty, and like I think when I read it, I was like, what? That didn't happen though until the end of the book. And there's also like a little bit of bullying in here. I would say like more so teasing, and I didn't like that because I hate bullies and I've literally been bullied before, so I was like, oh my god, I'm sad for her. This actually was like pretty decent though, on like, it wasn't that thick of a book. It was pretty good. I finished it really fast. I think that the character in this, she shows a lot of promise. I will be reading the second and third book. I think it's The Wicked King and the Queen of Nothing, and I think that's it. Or is there might be more to the series, but I feel like I'm already invested this much. I need to like read the rest of the series. But anyways, the main character Jude, she shows a lot of promise and resilience. She has been through a lot, and she also has a lot of like those empowering features where she really just doesn't care what people think, and she does what she wants because she deserves it. There is also some love story in here, but it's not like the number one priority in here. I would say the priority in this book is more like adventure, mystery, a lot of like problem solving. And I was looking at people's reviews of this book, and a lot of people are saying that this book, they love it because of the politics. Not like, you know, Republican or Democratic. It's more so of like right or wrong, because the part of this book is like they want the crown, right? So they're trying to like basically figure out which king's son would be the best fit to be the next king. And there's a lot of like twists and turns in this, a lot of mystery, a lot of, you know, and it's a lot. But I would say that the ending of this was really, really good. It took me a while to get into it, but I think when I got to it, I just was like on a roll, and it was a fast and quick read. I would say that there also is a lot in this that makes me questions people's loyalty. Like, I want to read the next book because I just want to know what happens to the twin sister and her lover and just everything. Eye roll. That's literally a hint to you guys. Eye roll, because I can't stand her twin sister. But yeah, so she's also like a warrior. She wants to be a warrior, but then her stepdad, aka her older sister's dad, the one who like offed her parents, he's basically like, no, why would you want to be a warrior? You need to be like a princess and like goody two shoes so I can like sell you off, whatever. And then she's like, no, I don't want that. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of like Demi Lovato's story where they're like, who's your favorite princess? And she's like, Cinderella. I ain't no hoe mermaid. Like, it's kind of giving that. And if that doesn't tell you enough, yeah. Her love interest, his name is Carden. I think that name is so cute and different. And their love story honestly doesn't spark until the end of the book. So I'm hoping in the next couple of books it really blooms into like a really mature relationship, but I don't know until I get there. The Cruel Prince is like in question of like who the Cruel Prince is, because I had an idea of who it was, and then more shit has happened, and I'm like, okay, wait, is it you, or is it you, or is it you? And I was going back and forth, toggling my mind around it, but I would say this is a pretty dang good book. I would give it a 4 out of 5. I want to read the next books, but it's not on my like priority to read it. I have a theory that Carden, he kind of gives me Reese energy from ACOTAR, except Carden has a tail. But I guess it doesn't really matter because Reese has wings. I don't know. But he kind of plays like hardball with Jude, and he's kind of like not rude to her, but basically kind of rude to her, teasing her. And then towards the end, he's just like, I just can't ever stop thinking about you because that bothers me that you're so much better than me, but like I can't ever stop thinking about you. So then I was like, oh, my toxic brain, like, oh, I love that. Send help, please. Anyways, I forgot what I rated this book, but I think I said 4 out of 5. The last book that I read, because my friend Taylor recommended it, is called Verity by Colleen Hoover. I know we're all boycotting her on Book Talk. I know, I get it, but I also was like, there's a movie coming out and I need to read it because I need to know what happens at the end before I go to the movie. Or I see the movie. This book honestly kind of gives me housemaid vibes. Well, not the same vibes, but on the lines of like it's in the same genre, like a thriller. But oh my god, it was kind of freaky. Like I remember reading some parts of it and I was like, if you don't know, the premise of this book is Verity is the author and she got into a car accident so she can no longer finish her multi-million series because she's like a New York Times bestseller. So then her husband Jeremy hires a like ghostwriter named Lowen, and then she goes by like Laura as like her ghostwriter name. And it honestly is like she moves in with them, it becomes this whole thing, and then shit starts to unfold. And I didn't see any of this coming. I was so freaked out by this, but this book was like just as good as The Housemaid. Same lines of like mystery, thriller. I was kind of scared to sleep at night sometimes because I was like, this is freaking creepy. I was imagining it in my head like a TV series or a movie, and I freaked myself out because I am in just so much disbelief that this author, Colleen Hoover, is so freaking weird. Like, I don't know who thinks to write books like these. Like, I was left with like a mind fuck. Like, I still don't know what to think about it. I don't know what team I'm on. Basically, all I'm gonna say to you guys is, I don't know if I'm team letter or team manuscript. I really don't know. I'm at a toss up for words, but basically she moves into the house with Verity and her husband, and she ends up like sleeping with the husband and doing shit. They're like in love, and she also looks into like Verity's office and finds a bunch of stuff like this manuscript and reads into her life because she needs to like basically like write the same style as her to get past writing like the next multi-million-dollar books or whatever. And then while she does that, she just starts to discover like a bunch of secrets and just weird stuff that you're just like, oh. And oh, I forgot to mention that Verity and Jeremy, they had kids and they both died. And then there's one more kid that's alive, and that kid is like, oh my god, like I feel weird. That kid is like freaky too. Like I can't even explain it. If you're into thriller, horror, weird stuff like this, read it. I could not put it down. It was such an easy read. Like the words are pretty big. Like there's a lot of questions still unanswered because the way that this book is written at the end. Philip.
Oh, so I can't even cough.
No. Okay. So there's a lot of how this book is written at the end, it really leaves you deciding like what you want the end to be like. You could either be on one team or another. That's why I said earlier, I don't know if I'm team letter or if I'm team manuscript. It's all getting to me. I don't know what to think. But I do know that these books keep me on my toes all day and night. Honestly, 5 out of 5. Just like The Housemaid, I had the same reaction when I was just like I don't know. The way that this was written was so good, but I just was like in awe. I need to get fired from my own YouTube. There needs to be a new star of this Leanne Connor, her channel, because I suck at being the main character here because I never freaking keep up. I don't charge my camera. I don't pay attention. Whatever. Anyways, I am just gonna wrap this up saying that is the end of my book review. I hope you guys enjoyed it and liked it. I'm sorry, I'm literally watching a squirrel and a bird or a squirrel climbing up to a bird's nest. Babe, look out a window. There's a squirrel attacking a bird.
Where?
Up in the tree. The tree to the right.
I don't see anything.
Damn, the bird just flew away.
What? You're alive.
No, look. Literally
Where?
that squirrel right there.
Where?
And right here to the right. And those birds.
Right there?
Yeah, they were in this tree and that squirrel like leaped on it and it
They're right there, right there.
Yeah, I think I have ADHD. Anyways, okay, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for watching my video. We'll be back soon. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed my book review. I will see you guys hopefully like very soon. We'll see. Philip is gonna keep me accountable, right, babe? To posting more videos.
Yeah.
He's lying. I'm kidding. Okay, toodles. Okay, bye.